Hello, my name is Coco, and I'm doing a recap of a Chinese movie called When a Wolf Falls in Love with a Sheep. It's a love story in a neighborhood where it's a lot of cram schools, and a guy he works at this copy place, and he makes a lot of copies for test papers. And one day he finds a sheep on the test paper, and it goes from there. Okay, first start off with these like pictures and it's going on and I'm like, okay, and come to find out this dude he was talking to, he starts off, uh I I did not pay attention to names like I should have in this movie, but the pretty main characters pretty much played their part anyway. He was talking about this girl and how they were in love, and one day she leaves a note on his forehead while he was asleep. And there it says, I'm going to cram school. And that's how she broke up with him. So, I mean, he was like just broken hearted. It's like every day. Like this movie, I think it's called stop motion, like they'll take every little smooth, take a picture. I don't know if it's called stop motion. I'm not sure. It did like that, and every time it showed, it kept going. It was just him day after day after day after day, trying to contact her on her phone, and she would not answer. And then he gets kicked out of his place. So he's looking for her, and he couldn't find her. And he finds this one place, which happens to be a copy place. Yeah, and well, there's a lot of copying for cram schools because he's hoping that he run into her one day. Well, like he shows different stories of people. Like there's this one girl, she's a hustler. I mean, she's always making money. She's doing anything what she got to. And then you got this cook that he's always cooking, but he got some mask on. No one really knows who he is. But like all the everyone, definitely the females like to come see him and watch him cook. And then he's talking about mentioning this one girl. I think her name is Yang. She draws sheep on the paper. He had ran into her before, but I don't know. He kind of found her like, something wrong with you? Because he tried to help her put papers on a shelf, and she was just staring at it because it took her back. Because what she does is she draws these sheets on the test papers, but apparently they're there for people to, the students to interact while they taking the test. I don't know if that's a good idea to be, drawing when you should be trying to, get an A on your test. Well, one day, he gets a envelope saying make 200 copies for this exam, and there he sees a sheep, and I think it asks, "Are you alone? Why am I alone?" or something like that, and he draws this big bad wolf. This wolf. And draws it like right in the middle of the paper and says, "See, you're not alone." And he got the white out, and that's what it was like. Oh, because I'm like, well, wolves are supposed to be bad. Like how is the movie about wolf falls in love with the sheep? And I think this is what I got my aha moment, because she's drawing the sheep and he's drawing the wolf. Well, while he was drawing, before he got the white out, a student came and asked if he could make copies. And when he did, his boss came in, the one that's letting him sleep upstairs. And he's like, "Oh, I'll make a copy of this paper." And the dude was like, "Oh, man." And, he kept like messing with the boss and stuff a little bit. And the boss was like, "What's wrong with you?" And he was like, "Nothing." He couldn't tell the boss that he drew on some people's paper, on the school's paper. And next thing you know, she had noticed, the hustler, she was getting on the dude for like leaving the box there, and she's like, so he always put the box in the right place. Well, the boss, I guess he ain't been going, he's been letting him go, and the boss had left the paper on the desk, and she's passed, she's like, "Who left these papers there?" And she's going to the girl that draws the sheep. She gives her the paper, and the girl hasn't even looked at the paper yet. And she passed up the test, and next thing you know, people are like saying, "Oh, the big bad wolf is there for you," and all this stuff. And she looks at the test papers and she sees it. Like, the students are they're drawing there too. They put their own little things. All, here's a pig and this and that, and I mean, there's just like different drawings with the thing. And like, for some reason, it says off. Like, people are now like looking and can't wait to see what the next story is gonna be. And like, it's even became popular in that neighborhood. Like, even the wolf is being used. And one day she comes back because the principal, he's like, one of them, it's all about me type of people. And he got mad because his picture was in the test booklet or something like that. So when so she went to the copy place to get his picture printed, and she saw the sheets, because when she draws the sheets, he's been turning off the paper and putting it up there because he likes her little sayings and things like that. He didn't want her to see, and so he like made everything fall down. And it's kind of get hard to where the story goes. Really, it's really good. He keeps running into her and talking to her, and one time he saw her. One time he was supposed to like clean out these lockers, and he finds like different things, and he felt like he should give them back to the owner, saying that maybe it brings some happy memories. Well, so he was telling his boss about this good deed, and his boss was like, "Oh, somebody," and start using it as a thing, a way to get people. So he's supposed to find like this dog, because the bosses are charging people to do this good deed, but I don't see how it's a good deed when you're having to pay. And he didn't like that idea, but because his boss said so, he had no choice. So now he had to go that night looking for a dog. And one time he runs into the girl that's being drawn the sheets, and the chick that's drawing the sheets. And the next day he was following her, but the next day I find it creepy with the following, but whatever. And then he's like, "I saw you buy paper." Well, first he's like, "I saw you last night." And she's like, "I didn't go nowhere last night." He's like, "You bought a paper." And she's like, "Oh, I sleepwalk." And he's like, "That's good that you didn't wake me up." She said, "Because I will die." And he was like, "What?" And he's believing it. So one day, and this was after when he tried to not make her see it, like everything fell around when she was asking for a copy of the principal. And so the next day, he's looking at, I guess, looking for the dog, and she's like, "Hello." And he just walks right past her, and she's like, "What?" And she's walking, and he stops somewhere so he can follow her. And she turned around, and she finally said, "Why are you following me?" And he was like, "Are you sleepwalking?" And then she's like, and he's like, "What?" And then she's like, "Oh," she's like, "I can't believe you fell for that." And he's like, he got mad. He's like, "I see you were wrong for that because I cared about you." So, I mean, they keep meeting the little things like that. And so while they was walking, he was like, "Are you going to buy a paper?" And she looked sad. And it's like, "Oh, like, why?" No, she said when, he bought the paper, and he found out her story. She counts to, one day she was in school, and she saw this dude, and she was counting, one, his hair, every time his hair flicked, two, and he participated, turned around and started staring, and, they started hooking up, and, he saw the sheets that she do, the drawings of her sheets. And, because she was telling a story why they had paper planes, throwing paper planes down from the building. Anyway, and he was there for her, and because she wants to become like a cartoon or type of person or whatever, and all the and the reason why she was sad about the paper is because when she sent them to newspaper, trying to get it published, I guess, make a comic or whatever, little comic strips, or trying to get her story paper, and she will always get rejected. And so I guess, sleepwalking and her in the paper and all that stuff. So that is sad. And then she said one day he left the paper airplane, saying he was going that he's gonna study abroad. He was like, I guess he was like high in the school, like he made good grades, and he just took off and left her. And the girl that's a hustler, she said he broke up with her with a piece of paper, airplane paper. She said he was wrong for that. Okay, well, she didn't say it like me, but you know, basically that's what. And he was thinking about it. And she said when she's talking to him one day, she said that people think that he broke him up with a piece of paper, but she knew. And I think she's saying that like once he introduced paper airplanes to her, that he knew that he was going to leave her, so it wasn't like she was shocked when he was gone. And the thing with her count to 100 is, when she was little, her mom does exam papers and stuff, and one time they were in bed and she trying to wake her mom up, and her mom wouldn't wake up, and her mom's like, count to 100 and I always wake up. And then it was sad. They showed the next scene with her mom in the funeral, and the little girl just counted to 100, because her mom said when she counted to 100 she would wake up, and she didn't, and she left. And that's when I started noticing numbers, because one day he had a wolf out, because apparently there was a new store that opened up beside the copy place. And, you know, they got to compete, so it's buy one, get one free. He had to wear this wolf costume. And, she counted. I think she counted to 84. I'm not for sure. It's weird. So, all of my, like, this, I'll get to it, this part. But when she did, she started counting, and I already done lost my thought. I have lost my thought with the counting thing. Well, since I lost my thought, let's just say that the movie. So that's how, and he talks about how he's been looking for his ex-girlfriend, and she was like, through a plan, she says count to 100, and she was like, what if she don't show up to 100? He's like, then, you know, maybe give it up. Well, there was one day she was looking for him, she couldn't find him, and she brought a sheep and said, would the wolf say yes? And so I guess it's figured out that, I guess she knew it was him, even though they didn't ever really talk about who was the wolf, even though he knew she was the sheep. But I think she did know, because, you know, would the wolf say, you know, yes? And he looked at it and he didn't ever get a reply back. And then she's telling the hustler, because the hustler works with her too, saying, you know, I'm going to leave. She said it's been 100 days. And one day he's down at the copy place, and the copy dude was like, looking at the thing, he's like, is that 00 or is that 100? And it hit him in his head that, oh, like, he goes upstairs and he counting all the little sheep thing he tears. He knows there's a number, like little numbers on there, and it leads to 100. And that 101 was talking about, this will be my last day. So he makes his copy machine, and put it on the exam test, and it says that all before that. Man, I felt like this movie was so simple, but like there's like so much to it. There was this love story of this guy and girl that shared a locker, because remember I said he was giving people, because he's supposed to clean out those lockers, no one wasn't going to use them no more, and he was finding stuff in there. And one day when the principal was looking for his comb to comb his hair, the girl that makes doing the sheep drawings, and the guy that's doing the wolf drawings were in the thing. I guess they was looking for his ex-girlfriend, and they came across it. And the principal, while he was looking for her, he said, I know this dude. He said one day the girl asked if she paid to share this dude's locker, and little by little she like leaving him a meal. I mean, she opened up, he left keys, and then one day she left him milk, and she was leaving him lunch, and you could tell like this little love story like emerging from this locker. And then one day they told each other that and I'm saying the story is because he finally gave all the stuff back, and like everybody opened their stuff, and it brought happy memories to him. Like he said, you know, it gave them, they remember the good things, you know, just don't leave stuff behind. You don't ever know. Anyway, and the last thing was his pager. You know, people don't carry pagers anymore. Anyway, this couple seemed like they're gonna be good. They're supposed to like work hard and get into the university they want to. And one day it shows that she got in and he didn't, and he told her he would wait forever, and that's what came with the pager. And he kept going and going, and one day it didn't last forever, and she opened up the locker and left her keys. That's very interesting. It really is. Like, basically while the principal was telling his story, it like all happened in front of the locker, and then just said one day that the dude disappeared. And here comes the hustler, and she's like, I know that guy, and it happens to be the dude that's been cooking the food all the females been at. And so apparently he worked at the same coffee place as the dude that's working there now, and he eventually ended up getting his own little restaurant, little, street vendor thing. And first he sucked at it, and so he got good at it. He changed his hair color, and he wore a mask. And they left it there for him, and they brought smiles to his face. And finally he took off the mask, and back to them. So when he found out that it was her last day, he looked, and he the drawing was the wolf. He said that if you want to help the wolf, so I can't exactly remember, but it was like if you want to help the wolf, if you want to see the wolf meet the sheep, make your airplane and throw it out the window at 1314. Apparently that's a pun that means forever and ever. And yeah, forever and ever. So, and as soon as 1314 hit on the clock, everybody rushed out, and like all these airplanes were like being thrown out the window, and he starts running to find her, and he sees her, and I'm like, why didn't you look? Like, I got all these paper planes, and then this movie, and just going and paper, and he's like running and running. He could just see her. Even the guy that cooked through an airplane from the building, from the top of a building, and everyone's just throwing airplanes, and then it's going, and then it slows now, and I'm like, okay, she's about to turn around. It's his ex girlfriend. I was like, what? Cause I thought the song now didn't mean she was. I was like, what? And she was like, what are you doing here? He's like, I go to school here. I don't know why he was lying. And she was like, oh, okay, bye. And then everything speeded up once again, and he turned back to look at her. And then when he turned around, there was a girl, the sheep drawing girl, and she had an airplane in her hand. It was so cute. And he was like, will you say? She said no. And he was like, what? And she's like 100 days passed. He said, well, can you say? And she was like, no. And she said, but I'm moving the next street. He was like, what? She's like, yeah. And he just kept going. He was like, what? And then he was like, then why did you quit? She said, because I got this place like my drawings. I still think she left because every time she gets to 100, she leaves. But I think to him, he thought that when she said that she was, when she put on leave, that, she was going to leave, disappear, gone. And she was like, what are you doing? He was like, nothing. And she's like, well, she said, since you're not doing nothing, why don't you help me move? And I believe he said okay. They just walk off together, and the movie ends. And so it was a good movie. I feel like, I don't know, it's a simple movie. It's cute. I think people would find it boring, but it's not. I mean, it does like little things, like I said, with the numbers. Like every time she looked somewhere, there was a number popping up. But I'm not for sure if it started off when she stopped counting. That one day the dude that was drawing the wolves like stopped her from counting, or just little different things. I mean, the little cartoons, drawing, doing, there's always the sheep and the wolf, interacting. Even at the beginning, like it was like a cartoon animation, and then like they were like animal shaped, I think. I can't remember how it was, but whatever, it turned realistic, and then it was the humans moving what was in the cartoon. I don't know, it was so cool. I mean, this movie does like this like little details, and you find all these details in the movie. So I mean, it's simple but cute movie, but yet they put a lot of lot of detail in it. It's one of these movies you have to pay attention because you can find interesting stuff happening in it. And yeah, it was a good movie, and you should